Hey guys, we can probably all agree that some items in the game have a really underwhelming amount of synergies for how rare they are. The number one item with this problem is Epic Fetus. That's why the modder James B546 delivered again, making the mod called Epic Fetus Synergies. This video will be a showcase of all the custom synergies the mod has to offer. Enjoy! Starting with Azazel. The mod will grant him and Epic Fetus the same synergy the item has with Brimstone, but the beams will be Azazel's default short ones. The short range of the beams doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The main target of your rocket will still take all of the beams for ridiculous damage. Tainted Azazel got the same treatment as the regular one, but with his signature Sin Brimstone beams instead. The beams have infinite range, but the usual times 0.5 damage multiplier. But this doesn't mean that the synergy is worse for Tainted Azazel. The explosion of your rocket will also apply the Brimstone curse to surviving enemies, which will enhance the taken damage. Next up is a simple one. Adding Dr. Fetus to Epic Fetus will cause the rocket explosion to spawn a Dr. Fetus bomb that explodes shortly after for a quick second blast. The bomb spawned from the synergy will deal 10 times your damage. You can basically treat it as a times 1.5 damage multiplier. One of my favorite synergies in this mod has to be with Ludovico technique. It causes the crosshair to be permanent and spawn rockets when close to enemies. The rate at which the rockets are fired is way higher than what you would be able to do with just Epic Fetus alone, which makes the synergy strong and practical. The Soy Milk synergy in this mod is a really crazy one. It enables the ability to have multiple crosshairs on the screen at once, and you will create them super fast. The rockets will obviously receive a heavy damage down to balance this crazy fire rate, but that is to be expected with any Soy Milk synergy anyway. The Lump of Coal synergy is also a really logical one. It will increase the damage of your rocket based on how far away you are from the crosshair when it detonates. However, it is important to know that this will never be a damage down. Even if you stand at point blank when the rocket explodes, the synergy will still be a small damage up. Another new synergy for Epic Fetus is Cricket's Buddy. Our trusty cat remains will cause the rocket to spawn 4 weak bombs around the initial blast, which detonate quickly after. The number one item greatly lowers the time needed for the rockets to drop after a crosshair is spawned. This reduces your range but grants a high DPS gain. This should have always been how the tier stat affects Epic Fetus in the base game if you ask me. Let's just hope the item will see some love in a future patch one day. Another cool synergy in the mod is with the remote detonator. It does exactly what it should, preventing the rocket from falling down until you pull the trigger. Since the detonator doesn't require any recharge, it basically allows you to spawn and trigger your rockets at a really fast rate. Just don't do it too fast for your own good. 9 synergies done, but 9 more to go. But before we go ahead, please consider subscribing to my channel. A like to the video would also go a long way and is much appreciated. Please help my 2 beggar friends out. The chocolate milk synergy in the mod isn't too crazy or creative, but probably better than nothing. It will simply grant your rocket explosions a times 1.2 damage multiplier. The Ball of Tar item will cause your rockets to create a large puddle of black creep when they land. This will be helpful against bosses or enemy armies that chase you. Next up is a fan favorite item, Tech X. It will grant your Epic Fetus rockets the ability to shoot 4 Tech X rings in a cross pattern away from the explosion. The rings will always tick for 100% of your current damage stat, even if they seem to be small. They don't need to be charged and deal heavy damage on the main target. The Compound Fracture item will create some bone tears in random directions whenever one of your rockets lands. The bones can then split into smaller ones as usual. This one is not really strong against multiple small enemies due to the low bone damage. However, hitting a boss at point blank will make all bones hit at once. Hemolacria works similar to Compound Fracture, but instead of bones, the rockets will spawn several small red tears in random directions around the explosion. The tiers of the synergy are way stronger due to the natural damage up provided by the item. Hitting a boss at point blank with all of the tiers will deal over 200 damage. The Ocular Rift synergy in this mod is very obvious yet powerful. It will simply create a single rift when one of your rockets lands on the ground anywhere. The special part here is the fact that this will occur 100% of the time. This is unusual for the Ocular Rift item, which normally has a default trigger chance of just 5%. The Cursed Eye item also got some love in this mod. It adds 2 additional rockets to your crosshair, which will all land on the target at the exact same time. But as expected, this is only half of the truth. This also comes with the Cursed Eye's signature teleport effect whenever you take damage while your crosshair is on the screen. The Glitter Bombs item already has a synergy with Epic Fetus in the base game. However, the mod adds to that by granting an extra spawn chance when killing an enemy. I haven't tested it in detail, but it seems to be roughly a 25% chance per killed enemy, but keep in mind that the glitter rockets can already spawn pickups by default. And last, and probably also least, is the synergy we always wanted. My reflection causes the crosshair to be pulled towards your character at all times. Great, isn't it? And as usual in these custom synergy showcases, I will show you what all of them do combined. Keep in mind that they are not made for this, so it can lead to problems. Yeah, that will not work. It seems like some combination here stops the remote detonator from working, which means rockets will explode in my face every few seconds. But since we are already here, let's try this again with some bomb immunity to see this abomination of a synergy in action, at least for the duration of a single floor.
Isaac!
God's favorite son, his flowing robes reach down from